Many parents and loved ones wonder how they can help first home buyers get into the market. Here we cover some of the options to put on your wish list, from the free to the mind-blowing.
Welcome to Your First Home Buyer Guide, the podcast for first home buyers who want to get it right.
I'm Megan and that was Veronica. We're both buyers agents and probably old enough to be your mums. But that's a good thing because between us we've got over 40 years experience and we are going to share with you bucket loads of stories about avoidable mistakes. Together we're going to make sure that you get unbiased and real information that you can rely on so you can get where you want to be without missing a step.
Now, we've got loads of great tips for you in this episode, and if you'd like more useful tools, head over to the website homebuyeracademy.com.au. There you'll find free checklists that you can download, a free mini course on how to price a property, and our Where to Buy workshop for only $39. Priceless stuff, really.
Bargain. But before we get into the interesting stuff in this week's episode, here's the boring bit, the disclaimer. You, of course, know that nothing in this podcast is to be taken as personal advice. We always recommend getting the advice of an expert in their field of expertise. Now, we've done our very best to ensure that the content is correct at the time of recording, but things change. So check with the relevant government authority or your advisors to get the most up-to-date information.
Today we're talking about giving the gift of knowledge and empowerment. That's right. Christmas isn't just about baubles and beer. It's about finding that unique gift that will keep on giving long into the future. But before we get into that, there's no special house behind you this week.
This is Megan, where I'm going to be.
We have your ideal Christmas, a tree on a beach.
On a beach. That's where I want to be. I love Christmas, Veronica. My decorations are already up and we're recording this in November, by the way, but I do put them up really early and really? I play Christmas carols. I sing really loudly. I love to find really special presents for the people that I love. And for me, it's all about showing love and giving to the people who I love. Every year I ask the kids to make a wish list. Now, they can put anything on it they want, anything at all. It helps me understand their really big dreams, their desires, what they're really hoping for. Of course, I have to reiterate that it's a wish list. It's not a shopping list and they might get some of the things on there and they might not. But I love it. One of them had a Lamborghini one year and it's a lot of fun putting that sort of stuff together.
That reminds me of the process that we go through with our buyer's agents clients, where we actually call it a wish list too, their brief, and we ask them to put everything that they want on that because it's the one and only time they're going to get it all in one spot.
That's right. They're actually looking for perfect imperfection, aren't they?
So, yes, exactly right. But I'm a bit bar humbug around Christmas, to be honest. I will put decorations up, but I don't put them up before the 1st of December. And,
come on.
And I hate carols. So we have the two ends of the spectrum here. And I insist on calling it Xmas because I'm not really.
Not Christian. Fair enough then.
There you go. I just see it as a really, really commercial enterprise, Christmas.
Oh, come on. It's the magic. It's the magic of Christmas.
I'm glad you love it. So you can keep the magic alive in this podcast. Going
for everybody.
But, I'm all for parents helping their kids out, their adult offspring out, and using Christmas as an opportunity to help them get on the property ladder. So let's get stuck into our suggestions here.
Yes, this is about helping you create your wish list to talk to your family about. We've had a lot of questions and feedback over the past 3 years from students whose parents really actually wanted to help their children get onto the property ladder. They wanted to help their children make that massive leap into home ownership. But sometimes it's really hard to work out how to do that. And not everybody has a huge pot of money that they can dip into. So, to help their children by giving them sort of a step up in some way on the path to home ownership. And there are so many ways to help, Veronica.
There are. I mean, it's interesting. In my business, we actually have quite a few of our sort of older clients who have adult children, where we may have bought for them their own home or or an investment property, and then they help their children in a myriad of ways. One of the ways is actually where they pay our fee.
So getting a buyer's agent to actually help them on the path to get the asset selection right.
That's exactly right. So the kids in those circumstances have done the hard work, got the deposit, and they're ready. But then like so many, first home buyers don't have the additional funds to pay a buyer's agent. And it's why we created this podcast. It's why we created your first home buyer guide, for that very reason.
Absolutely. So let's have a look. Every wish list has to have the big dream. Mine was a pony. Every birthday, every Christmas, I'm pretty sure Mum has kept some of my wish lists from when I was young. Every year on top of it was a pony. One year I got a little puppy. So that was, I think that's
sort of close.
They could fit in the backyard of the house in Lismore where I grew up.
And so your parents actually encouraged you to write wish lists every year, did they? Because my parents discouraged me, which is probably why I'm all bummed.
That's maybe where your Christmas spirit comes from.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up, kid. I wanted a bike. I never got one.
Look, I'm guessing for most listeners that their big dream is a home. And here's what we would imagine is wish list number one, and that's a new home. A very small number of parents can help buy a home for their children. By all means, pop it on your wish list. It'll certainly start some robust conversations in the family, and particularly if you've got siblings.
Oh my God, exactly right. Just because I've got one daughter, so it's a lot easier for me to consider maybe helping her by buying her a home in the future. If I had 4 kids or even 2, it does make
the favourite gets
difficult.
The house, the other one gets the tent.
Yeah. I've had clients that have sort of done this in a way that they've had to then negotiate prepaying inheritances and also
we'll get to that too.
Yeah. But also, you have to go through all these conversations around what if they get married, what if they get divorced. And in fact, remember back to listen to episode 48. And that will talk through some of those things that you might need to consider if you're going to be talking around the family table about parents buying you a property outright.
Now, that, of course, is the most expensive. We're going to go through some options for your wish list in descending order. So there is something here for every budget. Okay, a gift. So number 2 on the list is potentially a gift to bolster your deposit, like maybe cash, an early inheritance, as you mentioned, or a loan from family or parents. And again, this is something to really think about and a discussion starter, if you like. So the whole idea of the wish list is, there's some things that you can do and some things you can't, but it's good to talk about all of these sorts of things because you never know.
Absolutely.
And
one
grandma might have some money under the mattress
that they hadn't told your dad about. There's also an alternative in one of my clients is the parents are actually going into partnership with their daughter, and so it's an investment for them. So you'd work out sort of the pros and cons of how that would work. But so that's another alternative in this sort of same vein. So where they partially help you with some cash.
Yeah, and that might bolster your borrowing capacity. It may give you access to equity. And number 3 on our wish list is using the family home to cover the deposit and or purchasing costs. So actually helping you if you haven't got enough deposits saved up, this is an option. Now, don't get us wrong. There are a lot of legal ramifications for all of these sorts of strategies and ideas and wishes. So I can't remember what episode that was, but we talked quite a lot about needing to get legal advice and have legal agreements if you're going to look at asking for the use of equity in the family home.
That was episode 49.
That was the same episode. Okay. Yep.
We also have a blog that was written by a mortgage broker around what's involved with that. So we'll make sure that we put the link to that in the show notes for you.
Excellent. Number 4 on the Christmas wish list for home buyers for discussion with the family is maybe the payment of purchasing costs. Now, this could be the stamp duty, it could be legals, it could be inspections, it could be the buyer's agent. So helping family that way, still leaves that independence around your decisions of what you will do and what the property might be, because you're not really, taking on a partner or someone who has influence in that space still. Because remember, it has to be your decision which property you buy.
Yes.
But that helping along the way could be within the realms of possibility for some families.
Yeah. And we mentioned episode 49 twice now. This is the third time. You could listen to that episode, and also your parents potentially could invest in a proper agreement. It could be a gift for Christmas, a co-ownership agreement, particularly if your parents aren't gifting you the money, but they can lend you some, or there are other siblings involved. So where all the complexities get involved, and it's not just a nice clean, here, kids, here's some money. You do need to really think through that whole process. So that would be another interesting gift.
Good conversation to have.
You imagine that. Here you go, son or daughter. You get a legal agreement for Christmas.
But it's all about how to get conversations to have with your family in this wish list about how to move yourself forward on that, up to that first step on the property ladder. So the next, number 6 on your wish list, you could be looking at an investment in knowledge. Now, this, I think, Veronica, is probably the best thing that any parent could do for their child in their home ownership journey, is ensure that they understand what the process is, what the steps are, where the risks are. And, I just think this is one of the best gifts that you could possibly give. Now, of course, it's us. But I think knowledge is power, and empowerment doesn't have to cost a huge amount of money. And this is some way that you can, this is a very affordable gift that your parents could potentially make. Or if you are a parent listening, holy cow, imagine being able to gift that to your child, the gift of knowledge to empower them to actually make really good decisions. And then, you know what? Do the course together. Then you can be on the same pathway, using the same language, and enjoy the journey of towards home ownership as a family. I mean, imagine that.
Because, what's interesting, a lot of people sort of defer to their parents, say, well, they bought property before, so they must be experts in this. But, unless you're buying it day in, day out like we do, you're not an expert. And it's interesting, actually, we've had quite a few people do the course that sheepishly admitted to us, we're not first home buyers. This process is for everyone. It's just that we know that most first home buyers know that they don't know, whereas a lot of people who have bought once before, they think they do know. And so that's not an obvious, what do you say, unconscious
incompetence
or that stuff. Anyway, we encourage you to.
I think the other thing, Veronica, when we talk about it, is if you've ever bought in one state but you're buying in a different state. So let's say mum and dad bought in Victoria 20 years ago and you are looking to buy in New South Wales, it's a really different process. And as a buyer's agent, as an advisor, we often say to people, you need to unlearn everything you think you know about buying when you're buying in a different location, even regional versus capital city, or one regional location versus another. It can be really different how things are done. And an unlearning is sometimes the first and really most important step to actually filling yourself with the right knowledge, so that it's current, it's relevant, and it is going to actually help you get towards that first step on the ladder.
I can't tell you, when I was traveling when we were filming location, and relocation, all around the countryside, I can't tell you how uncomfortable I felt buying anywhere outside my absolute local area. I had to draw on resources from local buyers agents. You'd never see that on television.
Yeah.
Let's face it, all that back end stuff, very boring television. But I knew that I didn't know.
Yes.
And what a horrible feeling that is when that's what you call conscious incompetence.
And we're going to talk about that. We've got an episode coming up on unlearning. So it's
actually, I think it was 2 episodes ago, but we get confused because we record these in all sorts of weird orders.
So go back to that one. If you want to know what we're talking about. But that's being conscious that you don't know something. And that's a really good place to be, to then unload everything and start refilling your consciousness with the right information.
I tell you what, I wish we had put this course together back then when I was doing that.
Yeah.
Because it would have helped me no end.
Right.
I'm telling you right now. It was just horrible. As I said, I could not wrap my head around how weird it is in Queensland, or even how weird it is in Victoria.
To what you're used to.
Exactly right. And Bryce, who is my co-host, he had experience in West Australia, Queensland, and Victoria, so that was very useful. But he could not wrap his head around this crazy way we do it in New South Wales. So, it is weird everywhere.
All right, number 7 on our wish list for first home buyers is put Veronica's book on your wish list, How to Bid at Auction. It's only $29.95. We're talking real affordability here. And if you
I've got a discount for that too.
If you use the coupon, Veronica has very generously offered 30% off and free postage. So and we'll pop this in the show notes, Academy, for 30% off Veronica's book. So that brings it down to bargain.
Change out of $21. Bargain.
But of course, if you do the course, then you get it for free. So, might as well jump in and get it done.
Totally.
And the final thing on our wish list, we said there was something for every budget on this wish list. It is sign up for the free course. We have free information on our website. And the first one you can do is how to price a property. So that will help you to understand why AVMs, automated valuation or property reports, why they are really misleading and why you should never use them to arrive at a decision about how much to pay. There is information within them that's really helpful and relevant, but don't use automated valuations to, so some of them we've seen, Veronica, are like a $300,000 range, suggesting that, you might pay anywhere from, like $850,000 to $1 million for a property. That's of no help whatsoever. It is going to get you an awful lot of trouble if you try using that in a negotiation or go and set your budget for an auction because you've got information based on an automated valuation. So it's a free course. It's free. Go and sign up. Do it. And you'll get a bit of an idea of our style.
Totally. And the thing is that nothing replaces the work. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, you will know, our approach and the fact that we recommend that there's no silver bullets for any of this stuff. There's no magical solutions, no magical answers. Nobody can give you the answers to where should I buy? What's the property market going to do? Should I wait till prices fall? All that sort of palaver. You have to do the work to come up with the right solution for you. And there are processes and tools that we have that help you do that work, but you have to do the work. And so the problem is when people outsource.
Forum, where should I buy?
Oh, no. And don't rely on some free, report you can get online to tell you how much you should pay for a property, or and getting the advice from the wrong people, all the rest of it. So that's where that free course is I think it's a great little course. And I know we're biased.
The very first thing we created. It was like 3 years ago. We were sitting on your deck, I think, pulling together ideas and just having this huge explosion of excitement around, wow, we can actually do this. We can share this with people. How are we going to do it and what's it going to look like? This is the first course. It's still relevant. It still is the way that we price property.
Absolutely.
Yep. So there you go. A wish list that has an option at every price point and most importantly will help you move in a positive direction towards the summit of home ownership.
And we've got more coming up for you over this Christmas period. We do have in the next episode, we're going to be talking about how to take advantage of this quiet time, because there are absolutely things that you can do to set yourself up best for 2023. We're going to be talking. Absolutely. We're also going to be talking about, we've got, what you need to do to buy in 2023. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. And also what we're going to do is give you a shortcut. If you're new to this podcast and you need sort of a shortcut to get up to speed, we're going to give you a shortcut of really the 10 episodes to listen at double speed. And we already talk fast, so that's going to be super fast. 10 episodes to listen to at double speed over the Christmas holidays to get you primed and ready to take advantage of 2023.
Yeah. Wishing you and your families a wonderful Christmas and prosperous New Year.
Absolutely.
In this episode, we've covered a very small part of our 10-step online course for first-time buyers. If you would like to learn more about the process and how to buy without making a mistake, then head over to our website, www.homebuyeracademy.com.au. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss an episode. And if you like what you've heard today, please give us an iTunes review. 5 stars would be wonderful. It will help others find us as well.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this really useful. And if you have, please share the love with others who you know are in the same boat. We'll be back next week with some more priceless stuff.